that is how you respond to being shut out 4-0 on your own ice in game one. It wasn't perfect, but it was pretty damn close to perfect. Sure, it wasn't a shutout. Sure, St. Louis was kind of getting back into it at some points, but it was good. It was a great response, and it's good to head back to St. Louis at least tied, okay? If you can't win both games at home, then at least make the series even. So then you can even the series there or take both games there. It can still happen. But this game was one we badly needed, and thank God we won it. So, to start off this game, by the way, in case you're all confused, what is he moving? Yes, I'm finally done with finals. I moved out of my apartment earlier today, so most of these playoff videos are going to be from random locations, either in this house in Scottsdale or back at my house in Fort Collins. I don't think none of them are going to be from that small room with the wild flag up. I'll put the wild flag up at some point, but once I find a stable spot to put my stuff down, because literally this is the only jersey that I was able to keep out of the rest of the packs. All of the jerseys that I had stuck in here are stuck in this big ass suitcase. Ugh. Now my mom made us just somehow crush everything into. So, if you think I have a problem, you're wrong, and I don't trust you with that. Okay? I don't have a problem at all. It's just not heavier than I thought it would be. Anyways, moving on to game two. In this game, it was Ville Husso, again for the Blues, like we expected, versus Marc-Andre Fleury. Now, some Wild fans were absolutely, ballistic. They're like, what? Why don't we just put in Cam Talbot? Because Fleury had 4 goals scored on him, right? And you'd think that would make sense. Only when you look back at the goals he gave up, none of them are his fault. Literally none of them. All 3 of David Perron's goals, which essentially were all power play goals, one happened a little after power play ended, but all three of his goals were the same type of play. Fleury makes the initial save, it bounces off his pad, which is a rebound that you can't really control very well if you're a goaltender. You have to try and kick it out. Unfortunately, it kicked out to David Perron all 3 times. And the 4th one was Ryan O'Reilly left all alone in the front of the net. And that was Kulikov's guy on that goal. So, the Wild don't change goaltenders, but they do change out Kulikov. He was a -2 in game 1. They decided to go with Goligoski in this game, in game 2. Do I think that was the right move? Well, yeah, it seems like it. Goligoski did pretty well in this game, so we're rolling with that. And I had to take notes on the computer because, like I said, everything's packed up, so we're just rushing into this and hoping for the best. But I took a note, 11:04. That was midway through the first. It was a pretty back and forth game, but for the most part, the Wild had trouble getting out of their zone. It looked like what all of game 1 was. We weren't able to get out of the zone, and we weren't able to really pressure anything. St. Louis had a great forecheck. And Minnesota actually hadn't gotten a shot up until 10:27. When their first goal goes in, Joel Eriksson Ek gets it with 9:33 into the first period, assisted by Jordan Greenway. Basically, this one, and St. Louis fans are going to put in the social media comments all throughout these posts, they're going to say it was a bunch of puck luck and the refs helped out with the Wild winning this one. This is the luck part. This is the one part that I can agree with and say, yeah, that was definitely luck. Robert Bortuzzo, trying to hold up the line, breaks his stick as he's trying to clear the zone, breaks it, and wouldn't you know it, Jordan Greenway jumps right on the puck and feeds it right in front to Joel Eriksson Ek, and the Wild finally score in this series. They finally get their first goal of the game. So it's looking good. It's looking good for Minnesota. Then, 2 minutes later, Justin Falk gets a holding penalty. Now, all the fans in the building are thinking, please, for the love of God, just score on the power play. You went 0 for 6 in game 1. Please get one. And thank God they do. Freddie Gaudreau, 13:04 into the first period. He gets his first of the playoffs, assisted by Brodin and Hartman. Basically, a great shot in the slot by Brodin, who actually took the shot, so thanks for shooting this time. Brodin shoots it, and the rebound goes right to Gaudreau, who buries it home. I originally thought it was Foligno's. They gave it to Gaudreau because he actually touched it. So, Wild are now up 2-0. The building is rocking. Things are starting to go better for the Wild. And I wrote here at 5:43, shots are 5-4 in favor of St. Louis. It is 2-0 Minnesota. The first shot of the game and the fourth shot of the game for Minnesota go in. So we are rolling, and the energy has been pumped back into the building, but the Blues are still there. It's not like they've completely gone away. They are still starting to roll and starting to get some momentum. Eventually, at 5:02, the one thing we can't do is put ourselves in the box. Wouldn't you know it, Joel Eriksson Ek gets an interference penalty. But luckily, we're able to kill it off. And again, the energy is pumped back into the building. Tyson Jost is able to have a dominant shift where he basically controls the puck against 3 St. Louis players and still manages to control it and pass it out and set up an offensive chance. Tyson Jost is a very underrated trade deadline acquisition, okay? He may not show up on the goal sheet, but the effort he puts in sets up big plays. Huge plays, okay? He is incredible, and I have to thank the Avs for giving him to us because God bless. Then at 2:05, Justin Falk gets a slashing penalty. So now it's the second power play for Minnesota. And again, they cash in. But before the goal goes in, Robert Bortuzzo, the defenseman who broke his stick leading to the first Minnesota goal, takes a shot to the side of the head. Literally, he was trying to lay down parallel, trying to block the shot. It ends up hitting him right here. I want to say it got the helmet, but at the same time it didn't because he went off the ice immediately and would not return for the rest of the game. So I'm hoping he is better because it did not look good on the replay. Literally a shot straight to the temple. Yeesh, it was brutal. But power play would still continue for Minnesota, and eventually Kirill Kaprizov gets his first power play goal. Now this one looked like Fiala's originally, and that's what I thought it was. But they eventually gave it to Kaprizov. 19:06 into the first period, or 53 seconds left. It's assisted by Eriksson Ek and Zuccarello. Basically, Kaprizov, with an amazing play to keep the puck in the zone, is able to cycle it back around. Eventually, a shot is tipped in front by Eriksson Ek. Kaprizov hits the post with his shot. It bounces off of Husso. Fiala is just trying to get in there at all costs. And eventually, apparently, Fiala didn't touch it, which means that Husso knocks it in himself. And it's 3-0 Wild. And we are rolling. And that would end the first period. The energy is back into the building, and the Wild fans are chanting Husso's name, giving him hell because he's let up 3 goals after shutting out the Wild in Game 1. And shots after the first period, St. Louis 10, Minnesota 8. So it's weird because we outshot St. Louis in Game 1, yet they're outshooting us, and they outshot us in Game 2. And it's mainly just quality shots. That's what it is. Sure, you can get a ton of shots and try and pepper them out, but if you don't get quality chances, then what is the point? And that's what Minnesota did. They drove the net. They did the opposite of what they did in Game 1. They repeated what the Blues did. They got in front of Husso and didn't help him out whatsoever. They made his life a living hell. Just throwing bodies in front of the net, getting second, third, and fourth opportunities. And wouldn't you know it, we're up 3-0, playing the same way the Blues did in Game 1. It works. So fighting for the front of the net and getting those rebounds is crucial. Absolutely crucial. Then we go into the second period. 51 seconds in, Eriksson Ek absolutely dismantles Husso in front of the net. It was so damn filthy by Eriksson Ek what he did. Basically a bad turnover by a Blues player right in the slot, goes to Eriksson Ek's stick. He goes forehand, he goes backhand, jukes all the way around Husso, and then just tucks it home with a beautiful goal. And just like that, 51 seconds into the second period, we are now up 4-0. Wait, I'm hearing that wrong. 4-0. Yeah, that's right. 4-0. We are leading, and the whole building is losing their minds, okay? It felt like Toronto did in Game 1, okay? We are just rolling. Absolutely rolling. And at this point, they showed a couple stats that they put onto the screen, which kind of baffled me. So the 3 goals in the first period for Minnesota are tied most in first period playoff history for Minnesota. So the 3 goals we scored, the only time we've ever done that, Game 5 versus Vegas, when we scored 3 goals in the first period. And also, at that point, which 51 seconds into the second period, Husso has given up 4 goals on 4 goals on 9 shots. He has just not been in it at all. Poor guy. St. Louis defense, part of it was that they were losing guys because before this game started, Nick Leddy was a game-time decision because of an injury he sustained in Game 1. He did not go tonight. They're already down Marco Scandella too, and now they're probably down Robert Bortuzzo. And we'll hope they get better because it sucks to see players hurt, but St. Louis's defense just couldn't hold up. But then eventually in the second period, St. Louis starts to get more and more opportunities. They start to come back into the game and start to get some more chances. 17-24, or at 17-24, there's a mad scramble in front of the Minnesota net. Toropchenko gets a goaltender interference penalty after basically running over Fleury, and Goligotsky gets a slashing penalty on the same play, so it's 4-on-4. Nothing ends up coming out of that. Then at 15-23, Braden Shen gets a tripping penalty. We're thinking another power play goal, but this time Minnesota isn't able to capitalize. Okay, so Minnesota's 2 for 3 on the power play at this point. 13:09, I wrote, Minnesota is still bringing the heat to St. Louis in their zone. Eriksson Ek is playing with heart and a hat trick in mind. Remember that. Come back to that. But then at 12:48, Matt Boldy gets an interference penalty, but St. Louis can't convert. All right, so we're still good. At 9 minutes, Fleury ends up denying Vladimir Tarasenko on a backdoor opportunity, and he played good tonight, okay? Fans who wanted Talbot in, I thought Talbot would start this series, but Fleury is still good, okay? We still have 2 good goaltenders. There's no reason to shame one of them. And he played spectacular in this game with saves like that at 9 minutes, with 9 minutes left to go in the second period. Just beautifully denies Tarasenko. And again, St. Louis was still hanging around, but Minnesota played much better defensively with defensive sticks in the way and actually, playing cohesive defensive hockey, playing like they should. What I also found funny is how Dean Evison actually, for the ESPN broadcast, he actually put the headset on because usually Dean Evison will hand it off to, Darby Hendrickson. He's done it to Bob Woods. I think Brett McLean had, literally, he will never answer it. He finally does. He finally answered the headset. He only took one question. I could barely hear him, but I just thought that was funny. And then at 8:17, Brodin takes a holding penalty that really wasn't a good penalty to take. It was a play in the corner, and Brodin literally grabs him and pulls him down. It's a clear penalty. And they give St. Louis a power play, and eventually the dam breaks, and St. Louis gets a power play goal, courtesy of Jordan Kyrou, 12:34 into the second period, or with 7:26 to go in the second period, assisted by Robert Thomas. Basically, Spurgeon gets his pocket picked behind the net, just gets the puck stolen off of him, and Kyrou ends up getting his own rebound to cash this one in. So now it's 4-1 St. Louis. Okay. Shutout would have been too ambitious. That's fine. Let's just wire down and let's just make sure we keep St. Louis at bay. Okay? Make sure they don't break the dam. Okay? And again, the Blues are continuing to pressure more and more. So I wrote that Minnesota needs to get more offense. 4 goals is nice, but I don't think it's going to hold up against this team. At 3:40, Fleury goes spread eagle trying to stop a puck. It slides through the 5-hole, but it goes right out the crease and scared the shit out of me because I think I hit a high note when I screamed when I did that. And unfortunately, Kevin Fiala gets a hooking penalty. So again, St. Louis is back on the power play, and their power play is really good, like they showed last game. But luckily, we're able to kill this one off, and the crowd gets back into it with a great kill. And now St. Louis is only 1 for 4 on the power play in this game. And again, I wrote at the end of the second period, it's still a good period, but St. Louis is pushing to get back into this game, get some more goals to end it, and stay out of the box. If we do that, we'll be fine. Shots at the second period, St. Louis 25, Minnesota 18. So St. Louis is still outshooting us, but that's the same with what we did in Game 1. So we move to the third period, and when they were interviewing Jared Spurgeon, I noticed he had a cut right here. Right there. Jared Spurgeon in a cut right above his lips. So I don't know where he got it from, but it was just literally that's it's rare to see a beautiful face like that get screwed up like that. And it's weird that Jared Spurgeon was actually able to go for this game because many thought that he would have gotten suspended. I thought he was getting suspended for what he did to Pavel Buchnevich in game 1. Apparently, it was only a fine. Okay. I guess the Department of Player Safety doesn't take their job very seriously, but okay, we'll roll with it. Another thing that I noted in the third period, or before the third period started, blocked shots. St. Louis heavily won that category in game 1. It was like 17-6. At this point, before the third period started, block shots were 12-6 in favor of Minnesota. So clearly that's a stat that matters. And there were some pretty good shots blocked by both Middleton and Matt Dumba. They really put their bodies on the line tonight. But then at 15:46, St. Louis gets another goal by Vladimir Tarasenko. That's 4:14 into the third period, assisted by Buchnevich and Thomas. Basically, Buchnevich goes into the zone. It's not really a dangerous looking play at all. It's like a normal, like a 3-on-3 heading into the zone. Buchnevich drops it to Tarasenko, who is going into the circle, and he just snipes this one right over Fleury's arm. And it just goes top shelf, just beats him clean. It's a shooter's shot, and it was a nice shot. It was a really good shot, but it did not feel good because now all of a sudden it's a 2-goal lead. St. Louis is starting to gain momentum. It's not really looking very good. And to make matters worse, at 14:04, Eriksson Ek gets a tripping penalty. But luckily, we managed to kill it off again. But this time, St. Louis is really trying their hardest. They are bottling us into the zone, getting a bunch of chances, but Minnesota is still playing good defensively. They are still finding a way to put defensive sticks into the lanes, make sure to get the puck cleared out, and just survive this onslaught because they are really trying to get something going. And then eventually, as that play is killed off, somehow Kaprizov is able to steal the puck and go with a 2-on-1 up with Matt Zuccarello. Zuccarello has it, threads the needle straight past Nico Mikkola, and Kaprizov gets a tip in, and it's now 5-2 Minnesota. He gets that 11:47 into the third period, or with 8:13 left. Zuccarello gets the assist, and beautiful tip in right past Ville Husso, and now the building is losing its mind again. Absolutely ridiculous. We're up 5-2. This is what we needed. And then this just gets weird. Like this just gets odd after this. At 7:56, it appears that Joel Eriksson Ek has just scored a hat-trick goal because he had 2 goals early in this game. He had the first goal of the night, and he had the beautiful fourth goal that he did all by himself. It appears as though he's got this hat trick right here. Then all of a sudden, it is 6-2 Minnesota. And literally, my dad said 10 seconds before they scored this, let's get another one. Like clockwork, our God just decided, you know what? Yeah, sure, let's give him one. Why not? And it appears that it would be 2 goals in 17 seconds for Minnesota and the first playoff hat trick in Minnesota Wild history. But then the goal was ruled offsides, and it was clearly offside. Like, Marcus Foligno didn't even bother to touch up on the blue line. Both of his skates are clearly inside of the zone before the puck goes in. And Craig Berube challenges it, and it's ruled no goal. And all the people have thrown their hats onto the ice. Now we're just like, what? It's not even oh, Jesus. But then, just, like, this doesn't even make any sense to me. Right after that ruling is given on the Eriksson Ek no goal, while the crowd is chanting Husso as the ref is saying it, it ends up somehow, like 20 seconds later, Robert Thomas gets a slashing penalty, and Eriksson Ek gets an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. And if you look at the replay, Ek didn't even do anything. Like, I'm not, you can just check the replay for me, but I don't think I saw Eriksson Ek punch him. Like, didn't even throw anything at him, like no stick. If anything, Thomas clearly got the slashing penalty, and then Eriksson Ek just kind of stuck up for himself. And I guess that's considered unsportsmanlike conduct. I was baffled by that. I have no clue. I have no clue. And then to add insult to injury for Eriksson Ek, who just got his hat trick taken away, St. Louis pulls the goalie. They pull the goalie with 7:37 to go in the game. Granted, they're only down by 3, and Evason has done this before. But what happened when Evason did that against the Stars? Stars won anyway. And the same thing happens here. Only Kaprizov ends up getting the hat trick. An empty net hat trick goal. 12:52 into the third period with 7:08 left to go in the game. Assisted by Hartman and Brodin. Basically, as soon as the Blues pulled the goalie, as soon as they pulled Husso, Brodin fires it around the boards, gets it to Hartman, stretch pass up to Kaprizov. Kaprizov's one-on-one with Tarasenko, who's just trying to block it somehow. Fires it through Tarasenko into the net, and now more fans can throw their hats on the ice because at this point, you've seen 2 hat tricks in a matter of 2 seconds. And it's just okay, well, I didn't throw my hat on the first one because I like this hat, but yeah, screw it. There's the second one, and that one actually counted. So I guess that all the hats that were thrown on the ice were worth it. But okay, and Michael Russo he tweeted out something that said he tweeted out the whole amalgamation of what just happened. Basically, Eriksson Ek scores his hat trick literally 17 seconds after Kaprizov scored his goal. That was the 5th one for the Wild. Eriksson Ek's goal is disallowed. Then Kaprizov scores an empty netter. Those 2 goals by Kaprizov were 56 seconds apart. I think that's the fastest in Wild history by one player. So it's and right after that goal happens for Kaprizov, he finally gets the hat trick. They announce the goal and everything, and you hear "Opa" just over the PA, and the crowd responds back, and it's just beautiful. Then at 5:15, the crowd isn't chanting Husso in a Husso, to razz him. Now they're just chanting Fleury, 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 like a happy way, because Fleury played out of his mind, absolutely out of his mind. At 4:05, Tyson Jost ends up knocking down a 6'2", or might be bigger. He knocks down a big defenseman in Mikkola, and it was sick, so I just had to write it down. 2:52, Fleury makes another incredible save on a backdoor chance just to show how good he's been. At 1:43, Colton Parayko and Brendan Duhaime both get roughing penalties, and the game finally ends. Minnesota wins 6-2 in a game they desperately needed, and we go back to St. Louis tied. So I feel better about that. I feel good because now I know this team can do that. This team can dominate St. Louis if they play the right way. It's a great way to get back into the series. And when the Wild play their game, which is 5-on-5 and staying out of the box, not doing any dumb stuff behind, after the whistles, if they play that way, staying out of the box, 5-on-5, and going for those second and third opportunities, they can win this series. They can definitely win this series. Okay? And some other stats to add on to this. The final shot tally, St. Louis 34, Minnesota 28. So they beat us in that category. Power plays. St. Louis was 1 for 5. Minnesota was 2 for 3. And block shots. Minnesota beat St. Louis in this category 20-10. So we essentially won the categories that matter. I'm not saying shots didn't matter, but we beat the shots in game 1 and they beat us. So it didn't really matter. So the next game, game 3, it's going to be on TNT instead of ESPN if you're watching nationally, or if you're lucky, you get the La Panther broadcasts. So I don't get that because I live in Arizona, so I got to watch ESPN and now TNT in this case. It's Friday, May 6th, 9:30 Eastern, like the same time it's been when we are in St. Louis. If we can steal game 3 from them, that would feel good. It would feel good. You got to win at least 1 in St. Louis. They took 1 in our building. You got to win at least 1 in their building. If you take 2 in their building, you could win it in game 5. And, that would feel good. But this win feels good tonight. Feel good about it. Let's head to St. Louis and let's get the job done. As always, that is it for this one. Thank you for watching. I know the setup's a little weird, But once again, thank you for watching. Click like if you liked it. Click subscribe if you want to see more of them. And I will talk to you all later, because this series is going to be way too much fun. So I'll see ya. Peace.